Episode 3, titled Number 2 with a Bullet, kicks off with Reacher and Duke having a conversation about the informant. When they return home, Reacher grabs a bowl of food but is interrupted by Duke, who informs him that Beck wants to speak with him. Beck reveals that the truck that hit Richard's car was linked to people Beck has done business with, and no one matches the description Reacher gave of the driver. Beck now suspects the truck was stolen or that Reacher is lying. Reacher tries to sow doubt in Beck's mind, explaining that the kidnapping of Richard was a sloppy move to send a message to the owner of Bizarre Bazaar. Despite Reacher's attempt to dig deeper into Beck's business, Beck tells him to focus on protecting Richard and not pry into things that don't concern him. Meanwhile, Neagley uncovers some important information. She learns that Polly, Duke, and the informant have previous experience in law enforcement. We also get a shocker: Francis Quinn, someone Reacher thought he killed, is alive and back. Reacher now knows that they need a new plan, as Beck is already starting to question his trustworthiness. Reacher talks to Duffy and reveals that Quinn is crucial to his past. Reacher had once tried to kill him after Quinn did something horrific to one of Reacher's friends, Sergeant First Class Dominique Cole. Before he can continue, Reacher and Duffy arrive at the Bizarre Bazaar warehouse to meet Angel Dull, the informant Reacher killed earlier. At the warehouse, they search for clues related to Teresa Daniels, but instead, they find a large container hiding Angel Dull's body. They try to clean up the bloodstains but are interrupted by two of Beck's men. Reacher and Duffy fight them off before heading back to Beck's place. The next morning, Beck is frustrated because two drivers who were supposed to handle a consignment didn't show up. Reacher soon figures out that those two drivers were the ones he killed the night before. Beck orders Reacher to take Richard to the city for shopping, and while they're there, Reacher learns that Richard wanted to buy a birthday gift for his father. During the shopping trip, Reacher saves Richard from a group of bullies, earning Richard's trust. Richard opens up to Reacher, telling him that Beck's boss, Julius McCabe, controls everything, including their lives. Richard reveals that McCabe is the one who initially tried to kidnap him and cut off his ear. He also shares how McCabe took over the rug business from his father, making Beck just a puppet in the larger scheme. Duffy uncovers McCabe's identity, and Reacher realizes that McCabe is the key to everything. Reacher takes Richard back to Beck's house and finds out that the men who tried to kidnap Richard are nearby. Reacher, Beck, and Duke head to the house to eliminate the threat. Reacher and Duke have a plan to enter the house, but Duke insists on going first. They search for the men, but Reacher ends up pointing a gun at Duke and demands to know where Teresa is. Duke refuses to talk, thinking Reacher won't pull the trigger, but Reacher does. He kills Duke point blank, then fires off several shots to make it seem like a confrontation between them and the bad guys. Reacher injures himself before blowing up the house, returning to Beck and telling him that Duke didn't survive. Reacher shows Beck the gun that belonged to Angel Dull, which Beck recognizes as the one he gave to him. The episode concludes with Beck naming Reacher as the new head of security. Episode 3 ends on a cliffhanger with Reacher finally infiltrating Beck's inner circle. With the stakes higher than ever, it's exciting to see what happens next as Reacher continues his mission.